Hey, what's up guys, it's me Redin, and today we're going to be doing a review on Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. Now I haven't done a game review in over a year most likely, but we're back. I have like over 350 games on Steam, so we have lots of games to review here. This is actually a game that I've played a decent amount of, but I do enjoy it, and I'm going to give my full review right now. So Car Mechanic Simulator 2018, I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching. Okay, so here we are in my garage, and this is a actual upgraded garage. You don't really start with this, but as you can see, I'm level, what am I? Level 11, almost level 12, so I almost have another upgrade to my garage, but this is the game. It's the game basically, the concept behind it is you get cars, there's a whole call order, you pick up a car, the car comes in your garage, you put it up on the hoist, and you fix the problem. Now, the early game is kind of like it tells you what the problem is, it tells you what you need to change, so it's pretty easy. But later on, you actually get cars where you have to figure out what the problem is. You have to find the parts that are broken. Now, when this is a car that I actually own. You could buy cars. If you go here, see there's like, you can go and you can drive your cars on these different tracks. And there's these barns that you can go to, and you can go to the barn. You can get your car. You can purchase it. And there's also auctions. It's really cool. So what you do is basically you fix a car, you sell it. Now, here's a car I actually just bought. I haven't even touched it yet. If I go to like overview mode, you can kind of see the whole engine there. Everything is white because there's nothing wrong with it. If I open up the hood, I go in to like the inspect mode, I guess you could say. Go back into examine mode, and I start examining things. It will start showing me colors depending on what it actually looks like. Some parts you actually cannot take off the car unless you, cannot overview unless you take it off the car, such as like here, cannot be examined, or can be examined by taking off the car, the ignition wires. It's pretty fun though. There's also other ways of finding out, so like suspension and stuff. There's, you take it on the track, there's a test track that tells you about things. There's a suspension and brake check thing here. You could also, if I go in here, use my examining tools, so I have like an OBD scanner. Oh, okay. There's no OBD port on this because it's an older car. The engine needs to be able to start. See, like this car is obviously a piece of shit. Like it doesn't even start right now, and you actually fix it up and get it to a running good capability. So right off there, so you can see battery, ignition coils, and the alternator are all damaged. Now if I go into overview mode, you can see those things are now colored. Now if I go here, I can sell the car for $23,000. Here's all the parts of the car that can be changed, showing me what the question marks. Obviously I don't know if they're broken or what, but that's another thing which you go and you inspect and you'll finally figure it out. And another thing is, like, they kind of show damage in this game by rust, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's understandable that they have to do something like that. If the thing's damaged, it's rusty. But in reality, I mean, it's not like, oh, there's an exhaust leak problem, there's going to be a crack in here, it's just going to be rusted to shit. Which, I mean, obviously in a video game they can't really do anything about that. That's something that, you know, it's how they make the game, so it's whatever. But we'll do a little bit of work to this car, so we're going to move it over to my car lift. There it is. Now, the way that you buy parts to replace them is you go onto your computer here. There's all these different shops. There's also a lot of, what do you call them, DLCs for this game. There's different car packs of actual name brand cars. But so here you go to like the main shop. You got all the parts here for all the different cars that you can change out. So you kind of make a shopping list here of things that you need to fix. So we're going to go ahead, go in my inventory with all my parts here. You can see the last car I worked on, I have a lot of random parts left over, which I'm just going to sell. All this shit. And there's also a bunch of things you could repaint cars. Like, I don't even have a lot of stuff unlocked, but I got the repair bench and that other room there that I was showing you earlier. Soon I can unlock a garage, more storage from a garage, another lift. Over here there's the dyno, paint shop, another lift. There's a bunch of things you could do to the car. A welding tool. So if I come over to the repair bench, here's something I can repair. I got a 50% chance. Again, you can upgrade the chance through your level skill points that you get. So I'm going to try upgrading this. Nope, it failed. Okay. So now it's even more broken and I cannot even attempt to fix it again. But all these parts that are like really garbage, I'm not going to be able to use, so I'm just going to sell them all. And like, as odd as it is, I mean, it's a game where you're just fixing cars and selling cars. It's actually really enjoyable. Like, I get a lot of fun out of doing this. And I feel like you kind of have to have the want to be into cars to play the game, though. Like, you need to be interested in the whole concept of cars to actually play it. But there's also these cases you can get. Open up the case, it gives you some random loot, which is why I have all those random things above. So let's see what I got here. Camshaft cap, and exhaust manifold. A white one. It's kind of nice. Collect the items. So these are all the items I've kind of collected over cases. So here we go. We're going to start with this car here. So this car does not start. So we know there's something going on with it. And the game doesn't really tell you what to do. So it's kind of something you got to figure out on your own. But ignition distributor. Right off the bat, I'm assuming it might be a problem with the... what do you call it? Spark plugs. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to remove the ignition wires, which are already damaged. Ignition distributor cat. See, this is an older car, so it's not as simple as, there's a clip here I got to get off. There we go. Now I can take it off. See, that thing's pretty good. The ignition distributor rotor, that's fucked. Ignition distributor, that's pretty fucked. Ignition coil B, take that off, it's pretty damaged. Now here's all my spark plugs. 18% garbage, 40% not bad, 25% not bad, or pretty garbage. 32% is not bad though. 36% not bad, 39% not bad, 52% not bad, and last one, 56%. So they're all pretty good. So now what I could do here is I go in my inventory. I got all these parts here. I know I need 1, 2, 3. I normally change anything 30 and below, but for this sake of it, I'm just going to change all the orange ones too. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spark plugs I need, and the ignition distributor. So let's just start with that. I didn't add it to my list, so I can't actually look at it here, but you can add things to your list. So I'm going to go spark plug. Here's some spark plugs. Buy 6 of them for $36. Boom, they're in my inventory. Ignition. What was it again? Ignition distributor. Boom. I believe I need the rotor, which is not here. Okay, let's see for sure what I needed there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sell some of these spark plugs after I put them in. Ignition coil B is not bad. My clip is fucked. Ignition distributor rotor. I've seen that actually. Right here. Boom. And then what was the other thing I needed? The clip B. We'll just change that while we're here. Clip B. Boom. $9. There we go. So now we can go ahead, go into the engine, part mount, ignition distributor, boop. Put on the rotor, put on the cap. So you can see these are all the different parts. So if I click on this, it's going to give me all the different like ones I have in my inventory. Obviously I only have one right now. Clip B on. Clip B. Oh, I was actually missing one, so I'll put the other one on after. Looks like I'm also missing the engine head cover. and a fuel filter. Those are two things I probably need to start a car. So we're going to get another clip. We're going to get the fuel filter. There we go. Come on over here. Part mount. Fuel filter. Bam. The other clip that I needed, which was just right there. Clip B. Bam. Now what else did I need? My ignition wires were good. Now I need to get the engine head cover. See, now this kind of stuff I'll add to my parts list. Add to list. It's a little bit more harder. Starter. See, that's something you probably need to start a vehicle. A starter is something you need to start a vehicle. So we're going to go buy one of those too. Just put back in our spark plugs, all of our new ones here. And hopefully we get this car up and running, and then that way I could take it on the track, I could take it on the other testers, and get a lot of information without ripping apart the whole entire car. Ignition wires. Let's get new ignition wires too. So we'll get the new, well, so we need a starter. I think there's a lot of these. I don't know if it's a V8 or not. Is this a V8? Let's find out. Part mount. It is a V8. Yeah. So we're going to buy the V8. $95. Ignition wires. Oh god, I did not know which ones I needed. Should have probably looked into that. I need the V8. Would you look at that? So I need the V8 ones. Looking on here. There they are. Boop. And I need, I got the starter. Oh yeah, the thing on my shopping list. What was that again? Engine head cover. Engine head cover A. And then it's going to be V8 OHV. There's a lot here. V8. Fuck it. I'm just going to type in it. V8 OHV. This one here. Boom. Now we can go back in, put all the rest of these parts in. Boop. Screw it all down. Put in the starter. Oh, do I not? Oh, so this one accessible from under the car. So I actually need to lift the car to get to that one. So we can just lift it up. Now another thing I should actually check while I'm here is, do we have any oil in the car? There is no oil in the car. Okay. So while the car is up, we could check the oil pan, make sure that's not damaged, and then we can put some oil in there. There's also, like, when you're removing oil, you have to use the oil drain, which is actually kind of a part that I like about it. Like, it makes me feel like you actually can't just be an idiot. Can be examined by taking off the car. Great. Oil, honestly, with the amount of rust on it, it looks good, but I'm just going to be safe by taking it off. Considering there's no oil in there. It's 34%. That will be fine. So we'll put that guy back on. So we could fill up the car with some oil and then see if it starts after. Just put that starter in really quick. Right there. Boop. There she goes. Okay, so now let's bring the car back down. Put the oil on. Or in. And then see how we're going. So, where's the oil? Where do we actually put the oil in? Right here. Oil fill plug. Go ahead, dump some oil in. Now it does cost money to put oil in, so it's not like it's pretty realistic. There we go. And now, like, even though I just put oil in, you can check the dipstick. It tells you how much oil you put in. The more, if you put in a lot, it will be maxed out. So it actually changes depending on that. Talking about tools, when it comes to like springs, there's a spring puller here. So to take apart your springs, you actually need to use a spring puller. Tire changer, taking off rims from tires, the wheel balancer. There's a lot of things in this, and soon enough we'll have a crane and we can take an engine out and actually put it on the engine stand. Okay, so now that we got all these things in, let's see if we can start the car. Sit in, try to start the car. Okay, it looks like, oh, I don't think it started there. Looks like it's not starting. Okay, that's okay. Let's see what's cracking back here. Because now we could fuel pressure tester. Okay, we're gonna hoist this up again. We're gonna take off the fuel filter, make sure that the thing is not damaged. I guess the one thing that kind of sucks is when it comes to the fuel filter, you actually don't need to... Okay, so the fuel tank was 10%. Let's see if that will help it by changing that. You don't actually have to put fuel in the car, and it doesn't matter if you remove it, if there is fuel in the car. What was it? Fuel tank. There we go. $300. See, now like all this money is coming right from my pocket, but eventually I could sell it for more than what I purchased it for. So it's pretty fun, actually. There we go. I feel like it's kind of one of those tedious games that are actually like enjoyable. It's weird. So let's hop in again. Maybe the batteries was... No, the battery was good. We did check the battery. So not electrical. Is that it on? I think it's on. So let's go to the test track here. We're going to take this out. Nope. Oil filter V8 is missing from the car. We don't have an oil filter? Whoopsie. Oh, I see where it goes right there. V8. 08 OBV, I think it was. Oil filter. V8 OHV. Boom. That is probably one of the reasons why it wasn't starting. I don't think it started though. I'm not sure. It sounded like it was kind of started though. Part mount. Where is it? Right there. Boop. Now we have an oil filter. And like actually if you remove the oil without that being there, you have to pay money to get it cleaned up. Let's see if we can test it now. There we go. So the car starts. We just basically took a car that did not start and made it start. Actually pretty interesting. Now, it's not the most realistic game when it comes to cars because like obviously you don't have to remove parts to get to other parts sometimes. It's kind of simplified, but I don't have a door. That's interesting. So here's the test track. This is going to tell us a little bit about the car. So right off the bat, acceleration test is from here to the next green line. Now we got our acceleration test done. This one's going to be our slalom test. And there's also parking spaces, so you can technically keep the cars if you really want to. Me personally, I don't really care, so I'm just going to sell it. Suspension test. And last but not least, the brake test. There we go. So we did the test. And now... come back to the garage and it's going to tell us. So we have like our like this basically now tells us all this information that's wrong with the car that we can now go into the overview mode and we can see it showed up in red. Now when it comes to some of these parts such as the springs, these parts are normally all messed up together. It's not just the spring, but just that test will only do the spring. Now, if we go and we could take this over to the test path, which will show us our brakes and our suspension. Just run a test. There's all these little things that are actually like, it's like I said, it's tedious, but it's an enjoyable tedious. So come up to the first set of wheels, front wheels, hold the brake button. There we go. Now it tells me my front and back brakes are actually not too bad. I read up on a forum that it actually, if it's below 30%, then it matters. If not, they actually don't care. Like the price doesn't change if you put something that's like 35% to 100%. It doesn't actually matter. That's what I was told, but I don't know. I just kind of keep everything above 30. So here we go. Finish with the rear suspension test, and looks like that one's pretty fucked. So here's all the information. Rubber bushings. It tells us everything. Close. You can now move this back to the hoist. Again, go into overview mode. Examine mode rather. And now you can see, like I was saying, all these parts are kind of messed up. My shocks are pretty messed up. Go to the front of the car. It's not letting me. Why is it being weird? There we go. examine mode, you can see we found out a lot of more information about the car. And like I said, there's a bunch of things you could do to test it to figure out exactly what's wrong. But I actually really do enjoy this game, so I'm going to give you guys my final review here. It's going to be right after this part. I hope you guys enjoyed the actual gameplay though. If I missed something, I'm sorry. Sometimes I can't really remember everything that's in the game. But some of these games on my game review series is actually going to be like fresh, like I've never played it. So it's kind of like a game review and a first impressions. But this is a game that I've put a couple hours, probably about 20 hours into now, and I've definitely enjoyed it. But anyways, over to the review. Okay, guys, so here's going to be my final review for the game. Now, I actually have to say this game is pretty good for the concept behind it. Simulator games don't normally get that much love, but I actually, some reason, get enjoyment out of it. So I actually broke down the game into a couple categories here. So player base, I'm going to say it's pretty mature. When it comes to this type of game, you need to have a mature knowledge towards cars, I guess, and a lot of younger people don't really get that or have that maturity. For the graphics are actually pretty good. Considering it's a simulator game, a lot of simulator games don't have that great of graphics, but it's pretty good. I mean, it is 2018 simulator. The price, I would say I actually don't know the price of the game. I'm going to show it on the screen right now. I think it's like $21 Canadian. But for the price, I think it's worth it, considering the amount of time that you actually can get out of it, you know? The requirements, from what I've heard, it is actually a pretty demanding game. For me, with somebody with a pretty decent PC, I don't really have that much problem. So I put it down as fast. I will show a screenshot of the minimum and maximum that Steam provides right on the screen now. So you guys can kind of see if you can actually run the game or not. For the difficulty, I would say it's medium, considering it kind of shoots you off with like no, knowledge behind the game, but it's something you can kind of pick up if you know a little bit about cars, which I don't think you could be really playing if you don't know about cars. So I kind of put it in medium because if you don't know about cars, it's pretty hard, but if you do know about cars, it's pretty easy. So I feel like medium's a pretty good point for that. The game length, I put it as endless because honestly, you can play the game forever, but it's more, are you going to get bored of it? Me personally, I know for a fact that I would get bored of the game eventually, but for right now, it's one of those type of games where it's nice to go on, play a couple hours of, and, play it whenever you want. Story. It doesn't really have a story. It does have a story mode. Not really. It has cars that come in that apparently story, but I don't really know if there's an end to the story. So I put it as it doesn't have one because from what I know, there's no big story because one of my buddies actually is max level. He's done all of the points on the little point system there, and he doesn't have anything story-wise. Cinematic and art, there is no cinematics or art in the game really. I mean, the actual trailer, I have to say, is very, very nice. For a simulated game, I was more than surprised with the actual trailer, and it makes me want to play it more watching that trailer. You guys can see the trailer in the description if you would like, and also a link to the actual game will be in the description. Music and sound, there is a radio in the game that allows you to play all different types of genre of music, so I put it as average. It has a lot more of dance music, which I actually enjoy, so that's something I like, but there's no rap or there is hip hop, but for some other people, they might not really like the music, so I put it as average. Gameplay, it's pretty good. I mean, the gameplay is pretty good. It's not boring. It's the tedious, enjoying thing, like I've said. And then for bugs, from when I've played, I actually found no bugs. So like I said, nothing I've seen, but there could possibly have been bugs in the game. Others, multiplayer, single player, it is a single player game. There is no multiplayer. It would be interesting if they added multiplayer in the future, but I honestly see no necessarily need for it. So my final score is going to be 8 out of 10. And now the reason I did 8 out of 10 is because, yes, it's a really fun game and I can enjoy a lot of time playing it for now. But like I said, it's one of those type of games that I know personally I will not play forever. So it's not a game like Counter-Strike where I'll always end up coming back to it, I feel. But 8 out of 10 is a pretty good solid score. So if you guys are looking for a new game to play that kind of gets your time by, I would recommend playing this game. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching my game review. It's been a while since my last one, and I plan to do more of these. Comment down below what you guys would rate the game if you guys do play it. And thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good day.